Hello. Pittsburgh is home to a new program providing homes for single parents working to get their college degrees. The leader of the Pittsburgh Scholar House is here to tell us more. And are you living with an unsolved trauma? Two local therapists are here to tell us about their new program that they say brings strength in growth and healing. Plus, two film festivals in one. Film Pittsburgh is here to tell us all about this year's independent films on Pittsburgh screens, along with the director of the highly anticipated Clemente. So get your popcorn, pull up a chair, and meet us at the corner. Intersection starts right now. Hello, I'm Lisa Smith, the Director of Community Impact at KDKA+, and the host of Intersections. Being a single parent while trying to earn a college degree, it is not an easy task. But there's a program now in Pittsburgh designed to offer support to single parents who are also students or want to go to college. It's called the Pittsburgh Scholar House, and joining us to tell us more is Dr. Diamonte Walker. She is the CEO for the Pittsburgh Scholar House. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what the Scholar House is, kind of how it came to Pittsburgh.
The Pittsburgh Scholar House is a newer nonprofit that is focused on partnering with single parent students who want to earn a 2-year or 4-year degree while raising healthy and happy children. It is built on a model that was developed in Louisville, Kentucky, known as the Family Scholar House. And we have been working over the last 2.5 years to develop what we call the Wayfinders program, which is adopting that model with fidelity with a little bit of innovation added to it.
Yeah, so how hard is it, or how big of an issue is it for single parents who really would like to have a college degree, but they have kids and they have jobs and all of these other responsibilities?
There are structural barriers that exist within cities like Pittsburgh that make it very difficult to earn a 2-year or 4-year degree when you do not have children. When you add the complexity of raising children and wanting to do so in a way that is holistic and intentional, and you add on the responsibility of pursuing a degree, it's very challenging. The known barriers to degree completion through what we've seen are access to affordable housing, limited transportation access, the inability to navigate child care access, and also the impediment of paying for the cost of tuition. So the Pittsburgh Scholar House works to address those barriers.
Yeah, so how do people learn about it and get enrolled, and who qualifies for the program?
The program is intentioned for single parents with children under the age of 18. That is primarily where we focus, particularly for the housing program. If someone were interested in the program, they could go to our website at pittsburghscholarhouse.org, or they could come to one of our community events where we're often out in the community talking about the program and trying to attract those who are interested in attending.
Usually you think of women as being, the ones who are in this program, but can men apply as well?
Absolutely. We are gender agnostic, and we actually have had a few fathers enroll in the program very recently, which we're excited about.
Yeah. So you talked about the Wayfinder program. What exactly is that? And how does that help kind of walk the participants through the program?
The Wayfinders program is a 2-gen approach to working with the parent and the child to create these holistic outcomes. And so we address or assess the needs of the family, and then we put together what we call academic success and family success plans to begin to mitigate and address those barriers in a systematic way. If there's housing support that's needed, we provide a voucher through our partnership with the Housing Authority City of Pittsburgh. If they need access to transportation, we work with Travelers Aid to get them access to transportation. And we are also on a first name basis with many of the college administrators where they attend school. And so the Wayfinders program is significantly designed to help them find their way.
Yeah. What about those who maybe aren't quite ready for a college curriculum? Do you have a process to kind of help them also kind of get ready for that?
We do.
College?
We do. And the beauty of this is we sort of had to spend the last 2 years figuring out how do you help folks that are facing these barriers and access to education. So we developed Wayfinders University, and we've developed our own curriculum around college readiness. And so we can work with single parents and adult learners who are thinking about going back to school but may not be quite ready. And so they go through a rigorous 8 weeks that is mimicked after the first college semester. So when they actually enroll in school, they're a lot more prepared.
Yeah. Well, obviously that you mentioned, housing. That's got to be the biggest obstacle for a lot of people. But you guys are in the process of actually opening up some new housing to help the participants. Tell us a little bit about like the 2 buildings that you're working on right now.
Yes, I'd love to. So we are putting the house in Pittsburgh Scholar House. We have a goal to bring online 100 units of affordable housing that will be made available to single parent students. We are working on our 2 first catalytic projects in the Hazelwood Green and in downtown Pittsburgh, known as 120 Cecil Way, one in partnership with Trek Development and Tishman Spire, and the downtown project is in partnership with Beacon Communities. And so we are actively working with single parent students to get ready for those housing opportunities, which we anticipate will be ready near the end of 2027.
Yeah, and we're looking at one of the structures right now, and there's the second structure. And that one actually, you said downtown, that's an existing building, correct?
That's an existing building. It's an old steam plant that's going to be converted into affordable housing as a part of the downtown Pittsburgh office to housing conversion projects that are underway.
Yeah. How important is it for young people, the children of the participants, to see their mom or dad studying, trying to, get their college degree? What does that what happens in that process?
It is critically important, and what we know from the research is that children who grow up with parents who are college educated have better health outcomes, better school outcomes, and have better adaptation to social emotional learning. So our 2-gen strategy is designed to braid those things together. The children in our program, you can see the motivation and you can see the inspiration when they see their mom working on her college degree, and it's helping them to value education from the onset.
Yeah. Are there still openings, or how can people learn more? Is there a website that people can go to find out more?
Yes, there are openings. We are actively recruiting for our Wayfinders University program, and in the spring of 2025, we will reopen the Wayfinders General Program application. They can visit www.pittsburghscholarhouse.org for more information.
All right. Well, Dr. Walker, thank you so much for being with us and sharing this information. I think it's just fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, coming up, a new program to help a growing number of community members dealing with trauma. Intersections. We'll be right back. An accident, violence, someone's death are just a few events that can cause trauma, according to the American Psychological Association. And untreated trauma can lead to difficulties that impact daily life. The founders of a local counseling service noticed the impact trauma is having on Pittsburgh's African American community. So they have started a new recovery program called Strength in Growth and Healing, or SI. Joining us are Sharise Nance and Tess from Hand in Hand Counseling Services. Thanks so much for being with us, ladies. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So, Sharise, kind of start us off. I mean, you guys were seeing what you were seeing. What made you say we need another way, another approach?
Well, we've been running our practice for 11 years tomorrow, and trauma is something that's been widespread in our community, and we saw a lot of people who were presenting to our practice with symptoms of trauma. And a lot of clinicians are trained in trauma or trauma informed, but just being trauma informed, being aware of trauma isn't enough to help people peel back the layers of complex trauma, chronic trauma. So we put our heads together and thought, what can we come up with to address the widespread problem of trauma? And we created the SI program, Strength and Growth and Healing Trauma Recovery Program.
Yeah. So Tess, what does the program kind of consist of?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is an 8-week program. It's a comprehensive program where we are taking several approaches. So we are doing individual counseling using some evidence-based modalities like EMDR. We also have a body work component where we'll have some yoga, trauma-informed yoga, breath work, meditation, things like that. And we also have a group component where we are bringing people in for groups such as creative expression, dialectical behavioral therapy, and some things like that, where they can also have that social interaction and social aspect as they kind of learn and grow through their trauma.
Yeah, and Sharise, you were saying like people were coming in and you were noticing these things. What especially was noticeable? And when they came in, they didn't, I'm assuming they didn't come in saying, oh, I think I've had a traumatic experience,
Right.
or, so what were you noticing?
So a lot of times people don't know that they've experienced a traumatic event because it becomes so normalized. So it may be something as a domestic violence experience that happened in their lives, or something that happened in the workplace, or hypervigilance, just having these startled, jumpy responses to things in their daily lives. And as we are talking with them and learning about their history and hearing these stories, we are noticing some of these themes that are jumping out at us, and we're like, wow, this is happening. We're seeing a pattern. It's happening across the board. So what can we create to help people safely navigate through these experiences?
Yeah. And I know we had talked earlier, and Tess, you said even sometimes people just can't sleep.
Yes, yes. And so, you know, there's the incidents that occur, but then there's also the way they impact us. And so it can be in our health, it can be in our sleep, it can be in our eating habits, in our relationships, how we relate to one another. And so sometimes people are just coming saying, I can't sleep, you know, I get 3 hours a night and I'm back up, you know, and as you kind of delve deeper and we start to do those assessments, we're seeing, oh, okay, there's some trauma here. And you know.
So what makes this approach different from what maybe you might find if you go to your typical, I don't want to say typical, but go to another therapist? You know, you guys have come up with this program. How is it different from what some of the other offerings are?
So what we know as therapists is that trauma can be addressed several ways. A lot of times when people are treating trauma is talk therapy, which is a great way, but we also know that it's a whole experience. It doesn't just affect our mind, it affects our bodies as well. And so with this program, we've tried to incorporate not just the talk therapy aspect, but also aspects that bring the body into it, bring, you know, our mind and our spirit, and also bring that social aspect into it as well with the group work.
Sharise, what did you guys do to kind of prepare to kind of make this shift in this offering? Were there things that you had to like study or do, or more that you had to prepare?
And that's still in the works. It's very new. So there's a lot of testing, a lot of trial and error, a lot of meetings behind the scenes. I think we have a great group of licensed, competent, very talented therapists. So it was a matter of everybody bringing their resources together and organizing their resources and really pulling on everyone's strength and putting it together in a program. So this week is actually our launch week. So we're really excited about that and just seeing how it goes throughout the duration of the 8 weeks.
What are you looking for in terms of kind of judging the success of the program?
Absolutely. We're looking for symptom reduction. And so when we bring people in, part of what we're doing is assessing them and using some scales that we know are reputable scales to see where people are. And so we're looking to see a decrease. So we'll give them the assessment in the beginning of the program, we'll give it to them in the middle and at the end, and we're going to be looking at that data to see how well people are doing in the program and using that to make any tweaks we need to meet the needs for our community.
Yeah, and then we have some information that we can show on the screen that shows how, people can contact you. What is your website?
Our website is www.hihcounseling.com.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for being with us and sharing this information, and hopefully people will contact you and get help if they need it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks again. Well, coming up, it is film festival time in Pittsburgh, and this year's Three Rivers Festival kicks off with one word, Clemente. Intersections. We'll be right back. Well, if you love films and you love one of the biggest icons in Pittsburgh Pirates history, you're in luck. The Three Rivers and Pittsburgh Shorts Film Festivals, 2 festivals in one, kicks off this month, and it includes a sneak preview of the highly anticipated Clemente. Here to share more are the director of Clemente, David Altrogi, along with the film Pittsburgh Executive Director Catherine Spitz-Cohan. Thanks so much for being with us. And also, I want to say that we have with us Roberto Clemente Jr. Thank you so much, Roberto Clemente Jr., for being with us as well. So we're going to start off really quick. Yes, we're going to start real quickly with Catherine around, bringing Clemente to the festival this year. Why did you want to have that as the kickoff of the festival?
Well, I love when my my personal history connects with my job, and this was a no-brainer for us. Paul Sloop, who's our director of programming, and I had the opportunity to preview the film, and this was right after it premiered at South by Southwest, and David won, and the film won awards, and so I think it was since March that we have been asking. We knew we wanted it for opening night of Three Rivers Film Festival, the 43rd annual Three Rivers Film Festival. And so he made us wait for a little while until we were able to, that he was able to give us permission. So here we are, and we are so excited. It's such a good film, and I think the thing that was most impactful to me about it, of the many things that were amazing about this film, is how very deeply people still feel to this day about Roberto Clemente.
Yeah. Roberto Clemente Jr., weigh in for us real quick around seeing this film about your dad and why you felt it was important for you and your brothers. I know all of you were part of making this happen. Why did you want to be part of this?
Well, Lisa, one of the things that really kind of tipped the scale from the very beginning is the fact that this was Mom's last interview when she got interviewed by David at the Clemente Museum. And for us, we missed her very much. We lost her in 2019, and she was very proud. We've been waiting to have the feature film, if you will. That's a different story, but this particular documentary, this film, really hit home special because David is from here, from Pennsylvania, and he's almost a neighbor here, and we have become very close since we met. And I can tell you that it was a hard job for him because there were so many layers of Dad's life that he had to cut, I'm sure, out in a cutting room floor because there's so much meat into the bone of who Clemente was. And for us, it was a natural to after meeting David, he was the right man for the job for this film, and it shows with the product.
Yeah. David, tell us a little bit about how you kind of approached, producing this or directing this film, and what were the things that you really wanted audiences to experience and see on the screen and learn even about Roberto Clemente?
Yeah, well, I am not a baseball guy. I'm not a sports guy. I was real bad at sports as a kid, which is how I got into filmmaking. So I was drawn to the story of who Roberto was off the field and who he was as a father and a husband and a friend and a humanitarian. And I think I just wanted people to feel like they got to know Roberto as a person. And of course, there's great baseball action in the film. There's lots of it. But I really wanted to do something that would inspire people to do good because we live in a really kind of scary, uncertain time, and we're getting bad news sent our way all the time. Every time we log on to social media or turn on the news. So that I wanted a story and to be able to tell a story that would inspire people to do good. And of course, Roberto's entire life was lived trying to help other people. Yeah. And so, when I first met Roberto Jr. and sort of started talking about this, I kind of made it really clear, I yeah, baseball, but like more baseball's just the backdrop to an amazing human being.
So a lot of giving messages, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of heart, a lot of moments of empathy and connection between Roberto and his friends, and just like quiet moments of kindness and empathy. I was just so inspired by how he didn't seek publicity, and of course he had an ego because he knew how good he was, and you know he wouldn't take people disrespecting him. But when it came to going to the children's hospital, or you know just going out and doing good, he was very quiet and very private about that because he was doing it to do good, not to get attention for himself.
Yeah. Roberto Jr., is that what you feel like you saw on the screen, a lot of the good that your dad did?
Absolutely. David really captured that piece, that part of him, being able to go out there and use baseball as a platform to be of impact for the hardworking class, for the marginalized, and being able to go out there and be their voice because they didn't have one. So having that platform as a superstar baseball player made it a lot easier for him to be able to speak out against injustice.
Yeah. Catherine, this is you have 2 weeks worth of films for people to see, and this is the kickoff. Tell us a little bit about how you decided which films to include for the festival.
It's a great question, right? So the 2 festivals, the first 8 days are feature films, feature-length films, and then the last 4 days are all short films. So we present them in blocks of like 6 or 7 films, but it's the same thing as like a 90-minute feature. But it's an interesting problem to have. We have so many submissions and films that we consider for these 2 film festivals, and at the end of the day, we're showing 21 feature-length films, 21, and over 90 short films. So it's a tremendous number, really, from all over the world, all different themes and very, I always say something for everyone. But it's true.
Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time, but I do want to say that this is happening November 13th through the 20th for the film festival.
For features, yes.
Yes, and then the shorts are November 21st through the 24th, and you can find out much more information at filmpittsburgh.org. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Roberto, for joining us, and much success. Bring your popcorn. There's going to be lots of movies here in Pittsburgh to see. Thank you all so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
And I'll have my last word when we come back. It's November, so we are nearing the final few weeks of our 43rd annual KDKA TV Turkey Fund. And once again, we're asking for your help to make sure our neighbors in need have a warm meal this Thanksgiving. Here are all the ways you can donate. And from all of us at KDKA, thank you. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Intersections.